Hey everyone, this video I'm going to be talking about sections. So we have our floor plan. I taped a sheet of 11 by 17 paper. Here you can see it, the corners of it. You can't see the bottom left, right, or the top because I'm going to put two sections on this 11 by 17. I'm going to make sure that they're in the center vertically and horizontally. I'm going to put one on the left side and one on the right side in the center of 11 by 17. So when we're talking about building sections, we're literally talking about slicing the building at a certain point and then taking the bottom half away and drawing what you see. So in this case, here's my plan, right? And here's my model. I always want to You always want to cut a section where it's through the most interesting part of the building. And for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a building section right around here. So you can see it on my plan. I have to draw a line going all the way across, and that's this line here. So number one, I got to tape my plan up above, tape it down, and then you want to create a light guideline that's going to represent the cut line. And these little tails represent which way you're looking. So I'm going to be looking north. Anything below this line is going to be torn away or ignored. Any lines that are going through elements, that's what you're going to draw, and that's what those lines I'm going to bring down. They're guidelines. I'm going to cast those lines down. It's almost like the elevation, but this time we're cutting a section. So I'm cutting a section right through here because it's the most interesting. I'm going obviously through the platform, through the ramp. Up above, I'm going through the canopy or roof. I'm going to go through this wall. You're going to see some space, right? You're going to go through this wall here. Going through the roof, I'm going to go down for the reflecting pool, then come up to the reflecting pool, and I'm going to go through this wall, the opening. I'm going to go through the opening in the roof, but I'm also going to show lines for vertical elements beyond, just like in our elevation. So you got to be careful of that too. So you're going to choose the most interesting cut. You're going to do that twice. We're going to do two sections of this pavilion. Two sections. My first section, I'm going to do one for the demo, is going to be right through here, looking that way, looking north. Then I drew this horizontal line. Now the next step is to bring guidelines down wherever that horizontal line meets my elements, or the elements that I'm cutting through. The tail means you're looking in that direction. Okay, so in this model here, just imagine if I took a saw and I cut it, cutting right through here. Right here's this line going through the opening, so I'm cutting right through here all the way. All right, and I'm taking this half away and I'm looking that way. So you're gonna see all the elements that I'm cutting through. So first thing is to tape your plan up above, then draw this line across, draw these tails that are going up like about a 1/2 inch by an 1/8 inch wide. I'll darken those in. Now I got this paper down here that you can see. Let me bring my camera up a little bit. Here's my paper. It's taped down, and I just want you to know that we're going to put two elevations on here, one on the left side and the right side. Here's my purple line. You can barely see it, but I drew a line in purple lead, and I'm going to use purple lead to just so you can see what lines I'm casting down. I'm bringing lines down in purple for the purposes of this demo, and then I'll hardline everything, and then in video 2 I'll show you how to post shade or blacken in the backside of what you're cutting. I'll show that in video 2. So for now, I got my sheet set up. Right now I'm going to begin to cast lines down from my cuts. So I'm going to need my triangle, right? Which is here. And I'm going to begin to bring lines down. I've already drawn my ground line in my section, and I'll explain that in a bit. But I'm going to bring lines down from each line that's going through the horizontal line. So let's do that. I'm going to use my purple lead to cast the lines down. I'll draw them a little darker so you can see. So you notice that wherever that line crosses, I'm bringing these lines down. 2 lines for that opening I'm going through. Here's the pool. I got this opening here up above. It's going through the canopy. Here's the left side of the canopy. Here's the left side of the pool. All right, and bring lines down here for this wall. Notice I'm not going through any of the elements that are below this line, right? Like the bench. No, because I'm cutting right in this specific area, taking this away and looking north or looking that way. So I'm only cascading lines down from the elements that my horizontal line is going through. That wall. Now here's the roof. That dashed line is the roof. Happens to be in the same plane as the ramp. Here's my ramp. And then remember, be careful. We got to go 6 inches to the left of that because the base is 6 inches to the left of this line. So I have a line already 6 inches over right there that I'm going to bring down. So I've cascaded lines down here. So now what I'm going to do is, since this is my ground line right here, I'm going to now measure my datum points, right? My horizontals that are important. Since we know the platform is 30 inches or 2'6", that's my first line that I'm going to draw horizontally. So I'll measure that. There's 2'6", right? And then I know that all my walls are 10 feet above the platform, so I'll just bring the 0 up to the 2'6" tick mark, and 8, 9, 10. And I know my roof's 1 foot thick, so I'm going to put a tick mark on the 11 foot. And that's not it for now, right? I still have to go down for the depression of the pool. The depression of the pool, I believe, is 18 inches, 18 inches deep. So there we go, 12. So there's the foot mark, right? And then I'm going to go to the center. I got to make a dimension from the top of the platform down because the pool's depressed. So my first horizontal line in purple, my purple lead. Remember, I'm using purple lead just for this demo. You're going to be doing it in just regular lead. Here's the top of my platform. Here's the top of my 10-foot walls. Here's the top of my roof. That's a foot above my 10-foot wall. And then I'll draw a little line here for the depression of the pool. I know it's from there to there, so there's my pool depression. So now what I could do is I could start darkening in. Let me zoom down here. You can see my purple lines. I got these lines set up. Here's my ground line. Here's my top of my platform, 2'6". This line is 18 inches down for the depth of the pool. down, ground line, and then this purple line going across is 10 feet, and then you add another foot for the top of the roof. And these lines are cascaded down from the line, the horizontal line where I'm cutting my sections through, or my section through. So now it's just a matter of hard lining these lines in what you're cutting through. But you also, we got to be careful because we got some things here that are sort of interesting, right? I'm cutting through a window opening here, right? In my example, my sill height is the bottom of the opening is 3 feet above this platform. So I got to make another datum tick, right? Here's the 0, 0 is down here, right? The platform is 2'6", so I got to make 3 feet, a tick mark at my 3 foot right there. And my window height's 10 feet, I'm sorry, 5 feet high. So from that 0 mark, I got to make another tick mark 5 feet high. Now I know where my opening is because I'm cutting through that opening. So here's my horizontal for the bottom opening, which is the sill. Here's my horizontal for the top of the opening, which is, we call that the head of a window. So you can see that. Let me zoom in here. Here is the top of the platform. Here's the bottom of the sill, 3 feet. And then from there to there is 5 feet. That's the opening of my window. And I'll draw that in a bit, or I'll heavy this section in a bit. Now what I have to figure out is this ramp, right? I'm cutting through the ramp. Now, since the ramp is on a slope, what you could do is we could measure from front to back, from the top of the slope to where it's being cut. We can measure that. But for now, just for now, since this area of what we're cutting through, I don't want to make this more difficult than it has to be. So we know we're at the top of the ramp here, right? So when we cut through this ramp, that line is going to be pretty high up in the ramp opening, you know, right down here. So when I cut through this this part here where the ramp is from there to there, I'm going to make that line up towards the ramp. I'm going to put it right here, like about a quarter of an inch down from the ramp, right there, because that's where we're cutting through the ramp. I know the ramp slopes right towards us, so I'm going to place my line just a quarter inch below the platform, right there. That's where we're cutting through the ramp. Okay, so now what I can do is I can start to darken in all these lines that are in section right now. So how are we going to do that? Well, it's kind of, you have to find out what you're cutting through here and then darken those elements in. So for instance, I'm going to start darkening in, let's see, what can I start darkening in here that I'm cutting through the section? I could do the platform, right? These walls, the roof, darkening in the depression, and this wall that has the opening. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to figure which ones, or the outline. I'm going to figure the outline because we're cutting through this, right? So we want to make the line weight around what we're cutting through thick because we're cutting through it. You want to emphasize that. So what I'm going to do down here is I'm going to start by darkening these lines. So let's do that. The roof's going to be thick. That wall is going to be thick. That wall is going to be thick. The platform is, and the sill for the window, and then the space above the window where the roof does this L shape. So let's, I want to keep this line in the video. I want to make sure that we can see that. Okay, so we'll start this section. So I'm going to start darkening in the lines of the roof. So I know my roof line is here, this dash. So here's the line of the roof here. So I'm going to darken these lines, and then I'm going to darken in the line of the opening because I'm cutting this section right through here, and you're going to see an opening in the roof, right? So that's this line here, and then there's another line on the right side which represents the opening. Okay, I can darken that line, these three lines in. Now I'm going to darken in, because I want to do the roof first. I'm going to darken in the sill of the window, the head of the window. Here, I'm going to darken in, because I'm cutting through that. And then I'm going to do this down here. Okay. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do the horizontal, the upper horizontal of the roof. And I got to stop spinning my, I'm going to keep spinning my pencil, right? Rotating it. I'm going to do this side of the roof where it meets that vertical wall where the opening is. Bring this down a little. Now I got to be careful because the section cut does include this wall here and that wall, and then the top of the opening. So you don't want to go across really hard with this line. You want to have it stop at where the wall is, where it's meeting the wall. So and where it's meeting the platform. So I'm going to start this way and work my way to the left side. Oops. So I'm going to start drawing vertical lines now, because I want to show the cuts of what we're cutting through. I'm going to do this. I'm drawing the bottom of the opening and the top of the opening. I'm purposely leaving this open. I'll draw some light lines in a bit, but I want to draw what I'm cutting through, right? So I'm going to draw this line going across. Now I got to be careful. This wall here and that wall are going to be shown in this section. So I want to stop short of that wall, like so. And then like so, and then one more here. Notice how I'm stopping short of the actual wall. See those two openings there? Zoom in, because these are going to be part of the section cut. I don't want to take that line going all the way through. So these two lines are those two intersections, or those 2 points. Same here, those two and these two. So I'm going to continue. I want to sharpen my pencil, right? Just want to make sure. Let me sharpen my pencil here. Let's bring these lines down. Let me zoom in here. Sharpening and twisting, right, your pencil. And then this wall here. And then the same thing here. There's the wall that's coming down, right? And then this wall here. Right, so here's This wall in section is that one, and then that one is that one with the roof over hovering above, right? Here's my opening in the roof. Here's the roof coming down. This opening from that little horizontal to that little horizontal is the opening in the wall. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the bottom portion, the bottom portion of this drawing, but the top of the platform here. The top of the platform. Let me sharpen my pencil here. Okay, so I know it's in section here. I know the platform's in section. And we know, remember I said the ramp is in section too. We're coming down a 1/4 inch for the ramp. I'm going to continue the top of the platform. I got to go from wall to wall here. I'm not going across where the wall is, right? Because all that's in section. Now, I do have to be careful because I'm going to go down for the pool. And the pool line is this first purple guideline. All right, I'm going to stop there, and then I know the outer purple guideline is the other side of the pool, like right there. Like so, right? I'm stopping here. Now, let me zoom up. So the left side of the pool, the right side of the pool, that's here and here. I got to go down, right? The 18 inches on each side. The pool depth. So let me do that next. Let me zoom in here. And I want to go down the 18 right here. And then I want to go down right here. I got my horizontal line for the depth of the pool, which is this one. That is the top of the platform. So what I'm going to do here is go across. Right? I'm slicing through the building right at that horizontal line point. Right? Kind of coming together now. I'm going to go down that 1/4 inch, right? Draw a line, draw it up. That's the ramp. So let's go from right to left. All right, and then here's the area of the ramp that we're cutting through. All right. Now what we could do, let's see, there are a couple of things we can do here. I think what I want to do is draw, this is the top of the platform, the 2.6, right? What I want to do now is I want to draw the actual line going down to grade, which is this line, the 0, 0 line, because our platform is up 2'6". So I want to draw, let's bring this camera over here so you can see this a little bit better. I want to draw this line going down to the ground, which in our case is 0, 0. Right there. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other side to the top of the ground like so. Okay, now when we do these sections, you really want the ground to blend in with the platform, or in this case, the base or the platform, right? So I'm going to bring each of these, the ground lines that are past our building platform, I'm going to bring them out. I'm going to bring them out like about like 5 to 6 feet over, like so. And I'm going to bring this one out 5 to 6 feet over, like so. So this sort of, this is the ground plane. Here's the platform, the depth of the reflecting pool. Now I got everything in section here. Let me go over just to make sure I got the roof, the opening, and the window, roof going across, cutting through that wall, which is this one, cutting through that wall, which is this one, then I got my ramp. I'm not going to see anything in front, right, because I'm taking away this lower part and looking that way. So, part 3 is drawing anything that's beyond with a lighter line weight. So let me sharpen this and I will explain that. So now anything that's beyond in this cut gets a light line weight. So for instance, I'm cutting through this roof, right? But I am going to see this line beyond, top and bottom. I'm going to see the line beyond where you get to the top of the ramp. So I need a light horizontal line there. And then I'm going to need a light line from that corner to that corner because that's the top of the pool right here beyond. And then I need 2 vertical lines here, there and there, because that's the edge of the opening beyond, right? And then last but not least, we have to show all the elements that are beyond, right? This wall, so this right side of the wall, and then the left side of this wall I have to bring down. So let's start by drawing in the lines that I was first speaking about. So I'm going to draw this line. Now this is going to be a really light line weight because I'm seeing these lines beyond. That line like so, and then that line. That's a light line, right? And then I can draw this horizontal line going across, light. You might be able to see some of my purple lines, but that's for the demo. This line is light, all right? Now I'm going to draw these 2 vertical lines where the opening is, really light, like so. And that one, you can see that. 2 light lines there, 2 light lines going across, that light line, and then that one, the top of the ramp. Now I'm going to draw, I'm going to cascade these 2 lines down because that's the wall that's beyond, right? So let me do that in a purple. They're way up there, right? So I'm going to do that one. Just mark it. And then this line has to come down because that's beyond. Just mark it with a small X, right? Sharpen your pencil because those are lines beyond. And it's only going to go from the bottom of this horizontal line here because that wall's 10 feet, right? So this light line, it's way beyond the background, is going to be light. Like that, light line, and then this line. These 2 lines represent that. That line and that line represent that this wall way in the back. But it's on top of the platform. It's 13 feet. I know that because it's the narrowest width of all the walls. Now I have my section. It's really nicely cut. You know what I'm cutting through because it's dark, right? Any light lines, you're not cutting through that. Those are the edges beyond. I'm going to further emphasize the section cut by poching from the back, like we did on this floor plan here, poching from the back or darkening in with a dark color, and it's going to really pop. So in this section here, what I want to do, I want to create like like an end point or an end, 3 lines that are going to represent the earth and the platform that we're cutting through. So I'm going to bring this line, let's bring it down. Let's bring it down 4 feet from grade, from the 0, 0, not from the top of the platform. From grade, we call that the ground. Go down 4 feet, tick mark 4 feet. Okay, and now what we want to do. And you could go more than that. I think 4 feet is good. I've seen some go down further, but from the edge, and draw a light line coming down here, and the light line coming down there, and down that 4-foot tick mark. You can draw a light line going across like so. Now, what you should do here, get my erasing shield. Let's just erase the lines that are going across and try to make them nice at the corners. If you need to use your erasing shield, see, I could see that corner, I can see that corner. Now the reasoning for this, and I like to make this line light, that line light, and that line light, but make these heavy because it's the ground. Okay, anything that you're cutting through is heavy. Right now, I'm going to further emphasize the section cut by poching on the backside a dark color, a black or a dark gray, and it's gonna really pop. It's gonna look really, really nice. We know that the platform's up 2'6" or 30 inches, but we're going to include that when we color the platform and the earth all as one. Now this horizontal line here that you see going through, that's the 0, 0 or the ground going all the way through, right? But when we cut a section, you want the earth to be part of this structure. So that's what we're going to do. I've darkened in all the walls that I'm cutting through, right? And anything that's light isn't cut through. You don't see the stairs here, right? Because we're not cutting through the stairs. And again, remember the bench, anything that's in front, that bench we're not seeing, and that opening, because we're not cutting through it. So you're going to be doing 2 sections. I'm doing this one section. One section will be on the left side of your 11 by 17 landscape, of course, and then the other section will be on this side. And then what I should probably do now is just 2 light guidelines, right, for, maybe about, I think the other one I did about 1 inch down, but 2 light guidelines. Don't put them close to this horizontal line, but 2 light guidelines here, because you're going to say at 1/4 inch height, or 3/16 to a 1/4 inch height for the guidelines in between, because we're going to put a title here, right? We'll put a section mark here. We'll put a title. But I do want you to know that when you're setting this up, you do want to put this horizontal line light. But when you want to darken this line in, these lines should only go to about 1 inch in to your plan. So let me sort of work on that, or draw that right now. Let me lift up my lights here. And now this plan here that I have up above, I want to darken in the tails of this section cut, which is up above. Now, this line that I'm going to darken in, you don't want to darken in that much. See if I can get this up. I'm sorry about the lighting here. Kind of switched on me. Let me see if I can get this down a little bit more here so you can see it. You see the horizontal line going across. I want to stop that horizontal line that I'm going to draw about 3/4 or 1 inch in, 3/4 to 1 inch. So right here, I'm just going to darken this just ever so slightly like that. And then on this side, I'm going to darken it in. So when I take this away, you kind of see that this section cut it goes all the way through, right? But you want to darken it in like about 3/4 to 1 inch in on each side, and then the tail is the direction you're looking at with the section cut. I like to darken this in the tail. You don't have to, but I darken that in, and I darken this tail in. I did the tail a 1/2 inch high from the horizontal line, and then 1/8 inch thick. And then again, the tail is the direction you're looking in. If the tail was down, you'd be looking in that direction. You would have flipped the whole thing over, right? But there's my section cut, and the section is below. Of course, remember, you have to set up this drawing in such a way that your floor plan's up above and you're casting lines down, right, to this area where you're actually working on the section down here. That's the way to work on these sections. So you have your section completed up here. Granted, your section has to be drawn relatively accurately, very accurately, right? You cascade the lines down, you set up your paper, what you're cutting through. Make sure you cut through a very interesting part of your pavilion, right? I'm cutting right through here, like with a saw, taking this half, the bottom half, down or out, and then looking at what I'm cutting through. And you could see here, down here, that if I were to take a saw, look that way, this is what I see. Cutting through the ramp, cutting through these two walls, this wall and that wall that's underneath, cutting through the roof, and there's my opening in the roof, that's right here. This wall, and then you can see it comes down, I'm cutting through. This part right here is this L going down, there's the opening, right? Here's this wall, the low wall underneath, and then the platform, and then the ground. So that's my section. You're going to be doing two of them, so remember, cut these sections through really interesting parts of your pavilion. Now, you don't cut a section right through this ramp and the stair looking that way, right? Because all you would see is the ramp and the stair. Although that might be interesting, there's nothing beyond to look at, right? That would be a bad decision. And also remember when you're cutting these sections that you got to show the elements beyond, and you draw those in a light line, right? Or a light line weight. So where's my next section? I don't know. I think the next section that I probably should cut is maybe through here, looking that way. So you do have to do two sections, one in the east-west direction and one in the north-south direction. So I'm doing this section is going east-west, right, looking north. I think the next section I want to do is cutting through here, looking west. That would be an interesting section. And I could go through the bench, but I think this is interesting because I'll catch the wall, this opening, the reflecting pool going down, this side coming up the reflecting pool, and then I'll be seeing what's beyond this opening in that wall, the bench, this wall. So you really have to figure out where you want to cut these sections. And I'm looking for sections that are interesting, right, that are dynamic. So look at your model and your plan and see where you want to cut those sections. And that's how we do a basic, really simple building section. In part 2 of the video, I will show you how to render this section. We'll poche it, rendering poche, blacking in from the back with a dark color, whether it's a black color pencil or dark gray color pencil. Will be this nice wash. And of course, my guidelines for the demo are these purple guidelines with the purple lead. Your lines are going to be really light, and erase as much as you can from this. I'll put a scale figure in here for some scale. And then in the second video, I'll render the backside, and then put my title here. I think at some point, when you put your titles here, there are a couple ways you can do it. You could say section A, and then you would put the letter A, either to the side here or down below. Probably in this case, down below the letter A, 1/4 inch high, and you would put the letter A here, meaning you look, oh, it says A, so I know it's a section. and it's going to say section A. And then the other one would be what? Section B. If I'm going to cut my section right through here looking west, that'll be section B. It'll be on the right side. So those are our two sections. All right, the next video I will render this from the back side.